From an undisclosed location somewhere in North America, this is your weekly Truth Be Told Minuteman Report. Hey everyone, it's Robert Hensley, your Truth Be Told Minuteman, and happy Halloween month. I know I've been absent for a couple of weeks, but we're back with a fun story, playing off of Tony's show last Friday with Bob Cramer talking about the Demon of Browsnville Road. Just so happens I've been hanging out in that part of the country, so... Another quick story from Fayette County, Pennsylvania. There is the story, it's quite a legend around here, the Witch of Monongahela. And the story goes that this old crone lived in a cabin in George's Township that was protected by rattlesnakes. She was able to speak to and communicate with these snakes that would keep her house, and that she could see the future, and that she could fly. And not just that she could fly, not on a broomstick, but she would rock in a cradle, and she would rock so violently that she would fling herself out of the cradle into the sky. Right? Not making this up. This is what the story says. And that she was known to farmers that would cross her path, or people who reneged on something with her, like their cows would stop giving milk, their crops would fail, blah, 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 the usual. So here's what's really cool, is that the Witch of Monongahela was real. Not in the way that the legend became, but in certain circles. And you have to understand, this part of Appalachia, how'd you like that, Appalachia, is folk magic is something that is very prominent here. Unlike the Salem witch trials, William Penn, the governor and founder of Pennsylvania, refused to allow anyone to be tried as a witch, because the state was founded, like the colonies were supposed to be founded, on religious freedom. And so folk healers, mystics, witches were allowed to practice here as openly as any other religion was practiced. So, back to the Witch of Monongahela. There's not a lot of paper documentation, right? It's a long time ago, but we know that her name was Mary Moll Derry. She went by Moll, M-O-L-L, Derry. And she, from what we know, was born around 1760 in Germany. She arrived in America with her husband, who was a Hessian mercenary. Some writings say that his name was Valentine. Others say that his name was Jacob. We're not really sure. But he was brought here to fight for the British during the Revolutionary War. And sometime after their arrival, Mary had a change of heart, which meant that her husband also had a change of heart, and they switched sides. So Moll's husband became one of Daniel Morgan's famous Revolutionary sharpshooters. And it's said that he had a special salve that he would rub on his skin, and then he would walk around in a circle before he had to shoot. And a lot of people said that he was such a good shot because of this magic salve that he used. They had originally settled in Virginia, and then Loudoun County, I think, and then ended up here in southwestern Pennsylvania, in an area known as George's Township, in the southwest corner of Fayette County. And Moll had started to kind of gain her own reputation. It's said that she was able to find anything, that you could come to her, and before you even opened your mouth, she would know what you lost, where it was located, and if it was stolen, she could tell you a description of who took it. There was a newspaper story that ran in 1879, a few decades after her death, that recalled that Mary Mulderry had a penchant for coffee. She loved coffee. She wore simple handmade clothes, and that, and this is a quote, many and miraculous were the stories treasured in the memory of the oldest inhabitants related to their fireside entertainment of her actually telling without any hint the article lost, when and where it could be found, and if stolen, a description of the thief. So, that is one of the many things that Mulderry was credited with, was being able to find things. It's also said that she could foresee the future. There are stories of, there was a young woman that before Mull passed away had come to see her, and she told this woman that she needed to be very careful because her fiance would kill her. And later, after Mull's death, this young woman did get engaged, and her fiance did end her life. So that's, a little scary. There's some crazy stuff. Now here's the thing. There were a couple of men who ran into Mary in the woods, and they decided that they were going to get fresh with her and tease her about her fortune telling and all this other stuff. And she, in the year was 1794, she told these men, she forecast their future and told them that they would each die at the end of a noose. Now, within a few months, the first man, whose name was John McFall, killed a tavern keeper in a drunken rage, and he was hanged here in Fayette County. And a few years later, the second man, Ned Cassidy, also murdered a man in a bar fight in Ohio, and he went to the gallows. And the third man, whose name did not survive history, ended up in Greene County, and when he heard of Cassidy's hanging, he chose to hang himself. No one's quite sure whether Mary Mulderry had magic properties, if she was really a witch, or if she was just a folk healer or someone who was very intuitive. But as far as anyone really knows, from any record that might be available, she never harmed anyone. They claim in another newspaper story from the 1800s that as long as she had a little money in her pocket and coffee, she was always contented. So there's a great book called The Witch of Monongahela, Folk Magic in Early Western Pennsylvania by Thomas White, who I believe is a professor at Duquesne University here in Pittsburgh. But this was just another fun story that I thought you guys might enjoy after reading or hearing Bob Cramer talk about the Demon of Browsnville Road. So hope you guys have a fantastic rest of the October. Hoping to have another story for you this month. I'm on the road. I'm traveling. But if not, remember that there are many opportunities each week for new content from Truth Be Told on the Club Paranormal channel on YouTube. There's Minuteman Reports on Mondays when we have them, 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 Eastern. Wednesdays, Bonnie Burkert has Truth Be Told Transformation, again, 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 Eastern. And Tony Sweet has the original Truth Be Told, same time, 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 Eastern every Friday. And until next time, stay true.